Week 10 of the NFL season is here, and the Thursday night game featuring the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders is right on the horizon. So, what I got here for you is Kyle Zeigler. Follow him on X at KZ1180. We'll be breaking down everything you need to know about Thursday night football again, featuring the Broncos and the Raiders. Everything you need to know from daily fantasy sports to betting to entering your contest on FantasySpin coming up next. Like I mentioned, that is Kyle Zeigler once again over on X at KZ11801180. So, Kyle, let me ask you here. We got the Broncos. We got the Raiders. To me, I think the Broncos got this one. You never know. Maybe I'm just a little like, oh, Denver's great because they just, beat the crap out of my Houston Texans there back in week, I guess that would have been week 9 at this point. But what do you think from the just looking like a top level down, looking at this game? What catches your eye in this Broncos Raiders game?
Yeah, it's an AFC West showdown. Here the Raiders are coming off a tough loss there against Jacksonville where they went for 2. Brock Bowers just couldn't come down with it in the back of the end zone there. So they came up a little bit short on a short week now in Denver. Are they going to be licking their wounds after this, or can they put it behind them for another 60 minutes? I don't know. The betting line has the Broncos favored in this one, of course, by what, 8.5, 9.5 in some places. You got to think that loss that the Raiders just took is just going to weigh on them. 2-6 now. Reality is probably not going to make the playoffs now. Yeah. But, these guys are pros, so we'll see how it shakes out. Being at the division game, Colby, I always like to say, throw the records out the window in this one. Any given Sunday, I guess, or in this case, any given Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm. Thursdays can always get a little bit wonky, to say the least, in the NFL. So let's take a gander here at the board. We got a couple of interesting names. Let's go right up to the upper left. It's a staple on any Thursday show for Fantasy Spin here. We got Geno Smith. We have Bo Nix. But on the board, we have 6 spots. We only have 4 locks. Do you believe one of these quarterbacks to be more statistically significant than the other, that we need to use one of those 4 locks to preserve the quarterback that we want for our lineup?
Yeah, I would like to get Bo Nix in this one. I see Geno Smith there. I don't see Bo Nix. So definitely I want Bo Nix. Would like to, roll the dice here and not take Geno. I'd rather just, if we get stuck with Geno, we get stuck with Geno. But looking at the board, can we take 2 right here? Can we take both Broncos running backs?
I was just going to ask you about that. If you had a lean between one of the 2, obviously I'm still a little butthurt about it, if you will, about RJ Harvey cooking the Texans linebackers in coverage there. But it seems like Sean Payton's got a role for him. And then simply put, you mentioned it, Broncos are near double-digit favorites in this game. That has to lend well to J.K. Dobbins. So I was actually going to ask you if one of these 2 running backs caught your eye, but it sounds like you're intrigued by both.
I am, but if we had to pick one, it would be J.K. Dobbins, right? I mean, Dobbins' rushing attempt share is 55.6% to R.J. Harvey's just 18.9%. But I'm not opposed to getting both of these backs because Harvey is the clear receiving option out of the backfield, and he is starting to pop. You mentioned it. Week 8 against Dallas, he caught 7 balls for 46 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, against your Texans, like you said, did you know he actually led the team in receiving? He had 5 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown there, actually leading the team in receiving, which is kind of crazy. But he's starting to pop.
Yeah, and the numbers look really good the last couple of weeks. I'm pulling it up here because you mentioned that now. I just want to see RJ Harvey's target share. I mean, numbers necessarily aren't jumping off, but 13.5% in week 9. Could that be the launching point there for him? And obviously, it's going to come to a point where Denver's going to say, let's just run the clock, get out of here. J.K. Dobbins, double-digit carries easy in this one. Let me ask you this, because we have Trey Tucker down in the lower right. There's obviously a vacancy now in that Las Vegas Raiders receiving room with Jacoby Myers getting traded to a fellow AFC South foe of ours, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what do you think the Raiders do post Jacoby Myers? Is it more 12 personnel to get Bowers and Michael Mayer out there? Is it Trey Tucker just now becomes the wide receiver? Or is it one of those rookies that they have waiting in the wings?
Yeah, Jacoby Myers now in Jacksonville, I do think targets are going to expand a little bit for Tucker. Myers was getting 6-point targets per game. They're not all going to go to Brock Bowers, right? I mean, maybe, but no. But the good news is for Tucker is that his air yard share will increase even more. And he and Myers actually had a very close split in air yards. They were first and second on the team. Tucker's target share will improve as well. Bowers, of course, leads the team in this category at 23.5%. Myers was second with almost 21% share there, but some of that will spill over to Trey Tucker, who was third. But we know that it's not an easy matchup against Denver at all. The Broncos allow the fewest points to fantasy points at that position. As much as I still respect the Broncos secondary, even without Pat Surtain, we did see Nico Collins, right? I mean, he had a solid stat line, Colby, 7 catches, 75 yards, which in full point PPR, you'll take, right? I mean, that's 14 points right there. So I do think we could consider Trey Tucker here in case we don't actually get Brock Bowers.
And I mean, here's what we're going to play. We're going to kind of lean into a little bit of upside with this play. Because obviously, if you come in here, you get the chalk. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Do we think a lot of people are going to be holding out for Brock Bowers, including the two people on the screen right now? We are holding out for Brock Bowers. That is going to happen. That's just what we have to do. And obviously, Bo Nix in this case. You still have Cortland Sutton. We have Ashton Genty. It's going to be a tough matchup for him, too. You got the rookies. Dante Thornton might play a little bit. Jack Besh is going to be a popular name. To me, I would love if we didn't lock Trey Tucker in on this spin.
Okay.
I would love to lean into let's call it a chaos lineup. We locked in both Denver backs.
Okay.
We get both Vegas tight ends.
All right.
And hope to God that we get Bo Nix at quarterback and somebody else good in that flex spot. I really like Michael Mayer moving forward. I'm really intrigued by him.
Hey, and I'm not against it because, with these kind of lineups, you want to get a little contrarian, and not a lot of people I don't think are going to be looking at Michael Mayer. So it's not, if we get him, maybe we can put him up here. But yeah, I'm not opposed to taking Harvey and Dobbins here and spin the wheel for more.
And we just saw it last week too. Dalton Schultz even had a big catch, and he's about as elusive as a refrigerator at this point with how banged up he is and everything. Let's keep Harvey and Dobbins. We'll spin again. That's a really good lineup. So we get your Bo Nix, so we're gonna lock him in right away. So now we're down to one lock remaining and one spin. But we get two guys that we expect to get the ball a good bit for Vegas in terms of Ashton Genty and Trey Tucker. And then Pat Bryant had a big first down to move the chains against Houston in their win in week 9. It's been a little quiet there other than that. But if we look at this, let's say we lock in, who would you lock in between Genty or Tucker?
So Ashton Genty I like, but because he's doing great. He's running back 13 in PPR fantasy right now. He's doing better than I thought. I don't know if you remember, we had a conversation about him at the Expo over a cold beer. We both kind of thought, I think you were with me on that we both kind of thought his draft position was a little rich, but you know what? He's proven me wrong. He's running back 13. I had him, he was going running back 10. I had him at like running back 16 in the draft. So he's doing better than I thought. 27 missed tackles forced, 5th among running backs there. He's top 10 yards after contact. He's just falling forward. We know that. That's what he did in college. He's doing it here in the NFL. But it is a very tough matchup. So, I mean, it is, if we want to get contrarian, we could actually fade Ashton Genty if you want. We got both running backs out of Denver. We like Trey Tucker. We could go Trey Tucker.
Yeah. The one thing that gives me a little intrigue with Genty, despite the tough matchup, is that 3 of his last 4 games, he's pushed into that double-digit target share. He is getting involved a little bit in the passing attack. Maybe he gets a little bit more with Jacoby Myers. So we can lock in between Genty or Tucker. That's totally fine. So let's say for the example of this, let's go Trey Tucker. We pass it on the first spin. We lock him in here. Okay. So we now have 1 spin remaining. We are out of lock. So we are spinning for our dynamic duo here with these last 2 flex spots, Ashton Genty and Pat Bryant. If we spin the wheel, we need to do better than that duo, or else here's what can happen. We could get Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. We could get Brock Bowers and Cortland Sutton. We can also get Will Lutz and Daniel Carlson, or 2 other guys that don't play. So let's say it this way. Let's say Tucker is in our lineup. Is the duo of Genty and Bryant enough for you to pass on our last spin here?
Genty and Bryant. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I was hoping you'd say yes. I'm pretty good with this. And honestly, too, yes, we're missing some big chalk with Bowers and Cortland Sutton and such. But sometimes to win these contests, you avoid the star. And maybe what if Bryant goes 4 for 40 with a touchdown?
Exactly.
The only people who are going to have him in the lineup are the ones that got stuck with him. Kind of like we have here, but that's beside the point. So let's go ahead. Let's lock this lineup in, and then let's also add a pick'em entry here from this lineup. So looking at the players that we got here, Kyle, we have the 6 players on the screen here. Which, let's say, 1 or 2 are you most confident that exceed their projected fantasy point total as shown on the screen?
Man, that Pat Bryant is interesting, but
Hmm.
that's a little risky there. I think RJ Harvey at 8.6 in a full
Okay.
point PPR, I think he can get 4 catches. That's half right there.
Yep. And then I'm going to put in Bo Nix, and I'm going to put Trey Tucker because we need some for both teams. So let's put 100. Nah,
Perfect.
screw it. Let's go 1,000 tokens. 1,000 tokens to win 5,000 with that one there. So that lineup, 69.5 points. But hey, it's got some intrigue to it. I definitely like it. So let's spin another one here. We still haven't seen Brock Bowers yet. And that's the name that we want to see. But we don't get him. So let's lock in Bo Nix. Now, looking at it here, as much as we liked the Denver running backs, I think we're going to like a lot of this Denver offensive unit. What would you think about locking in not only Bo Nix, but Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin and just saying full on Denver aerial assault on Thursday night?
Dude, I actually love that. We know who Cortland Sutton is, but Troy Franklin, he's coming on. So I would love to lock him in. He's not the number one in this offense, but man, I was looking at it, he's actually pretty close. He leads the team in target share actually at 19.3%. He's second in receptions on the team, right behind Sutton, only by 1 catch with 37 catches. And Sutton is getting the first read share at 23.5%. But Troy Franklin, man, he is right there with him in that category as well. His first read share is 22.2%. So I do think Troy Franklin is a little bit of a sneaky value there. And I'm not mad if we go full on stack mode with the Denver Broncos.
And I like Troy Franklin because what he's done, and obviously the connection and the rapport is with Bo Nix. And then I was looking here for Cortland Sutton. The Raiders, third most yards per game to the perimeter. They rank fourth in yards per route run to the perimeter. And in terms of fantasy points per game to wide receivers, sixth most on the year to those on the perimeter. I believe it's like 80% of Sutton's routes are taken from the perimeter. He's basically allergic to the slot. So he's not going in there at all. So we'll keep Nix, we'll keep Sutton, we'll keep Troy Franklin.
Like
And then we get Genty. So, I mean, we have to lock in Genty there,
yeah.
preserve him from the last spin. I'll tell you, Kyle, we little peek behind the curtain for everyone listening. Before we jumped on, we basically talked about how the past couple Thursday night shows, we've all been looking for that stud. If you go back a few weeks with the Rams, we never saw Puka Nacua. A couple weeks ago with the Bengals, we never saw Jamar Chase. We joked before we started recording that we're not going to see Brock Bowers, and I'm starting to think that's coming true, Kyle.
And we didn't even see it off when we were playing with it. It didn't even pop up once. But maybe this is the spin. We're going to put it out there because, you're an optimistic kind of dude. You're going to put it out there, and I think we're going to get it on this spin.
I hope you are right. I'm going to say Brock Bowers. They gave us the Denver tight end, but Trey Tucker's not a bad one to mix in there. So let's do. Well, we talked about Troy Franklin. Let's do this. Let's do a pick 'em with Franklin in it and Sutton, both of those receivers. Let's do Nix, and then between Genty or Tucker, which one do you like going over their point total on the screen?
I'll take Tucker.
Okay. Let's do 1,000 there to win 10,000. And one last lineup real quick just to see. This is a hashtag Bowers watch. That's all that this lineup is. And there we go. We finally got the stud to show up on the screen one time on a Thursday night recording. We even got him before we got kickers, which doesn't happen anymore. I don't know why I continue to talk. I'm going to lock him in before he somehow magically vanishes. And it was all an illusion. So
and now that we have Bowers, do you want to look to, I don't know, be different and go with a Raiders stat?
Yep. We'll do a Geno lineup in case for the people who get stuck out there. We'll lock in Sutton as well because I love that matchup on the perimeter. Yay or nay on Evan Ingram? Can we trust him?
Oh, man. My problem with him is he just doesn't score. He doesn't find the end zone at all. No, we don't need two tight ends in this lineup.
Yeah, that is. Unless it's Michael Mayer, then I'm going to take back what you said. We will have two lineups or two tight ends in this lineup. So we get the rookie Jack Besh. We do get a kicker.
Oh, okay. If we're going Raiders here, maybe if the Raiders keep this, it's going to be close, right? It's going to be a low-scoring game, right? So we've got a Raiders little stack. We already have a Broncos stack. We could probably take the kicker here. He's going to give us a floor. He's going to put some points on, especially if it's a low-scoring game. So we could lock in Carlson if you want.
And you don't have to look too far back. I believe it was just, I don't know, like 4 days ago at the time of recording this on Wednesday night. Kaimi Fairbairn had 6 field goal attempts in that game. He had so many kicks that he got hurt and can't play this week now in week 10. He went 5 of 6 on those kicks, although 2 of them were super close, but he made them nonetheless. So the kicker got hurt the game after Denver because he had to kick so much.
Go figure, right? But
I
when we do these lineups, the thing that you got to do is you got to tell a story. Yeah, everything has
Mhm.
to make sense with this, like reading a book. So I think with what we're doing right now, yeah, it's not one of our favorite lineups. I'm sure having a Raiders stack, but it's the way it came to us, and it tells a story. So I'm down for it.
I am as well. We'll do the final lock and then the last spin here. Boy, man, Genti has been just all over the board for us, but actually it
You know
fits our
why? Because
narrative
I don't
well.
like them. That's why.
Well, true, true, but it fits the narrative well. So let's
It
do
does.
one last pick 'em, and I'm gonna make an executive decision here.
Mhm.
Uh, the kicker's got to be in it. So we're
Okay.
taking more on the kicker. Give me two other ones here that you like.
Ooh. Um. Well, let's go Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
And you said one more. Oh man, let's ride the hot train of Geno Smith. I mean, he can get 12 fantasy points, right?
One would hope that he could trip and fall into 10 fantasy points. And honestly, I think what we're going to hope for is they get near the goal line. Maybe he runs one in and just shows off the legs one last time and does it there. So let's put that 1,000 to win 5,000 with a little 3x there. And it didn't matter with that lineup. Once I saw Brock Bowers, anything after that was a bonus.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to see was a stud to show back up on Thursday night. I think he's going to be one of the keys to this game, both in real life and in fantasy spin lineups. But that'll put a bow on the week 10 preview for Thursday night football between Broncos Raiders. Kyle, thank you for joining. Why don't you let everyone know where they can find you and any work that you have this fantasy football season?
Yeah, you can catch me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, KZ1180 right there on your screen. And I'm with Fantasy and Frames. I just finished actually plays and fades for the season. But you can catch me Wednesday nights on the Fantasy and Frames YouTube channel where we do fourth and frames. And tonight, 10 o'clock, will be going over smash and pass. And we're going to go over the trade news as well tonight. And a little treat for all you Jackson Darts fans. I lost a bet on the show. Colby, I don't know if you saw, but the bet was he had to finish quarterback 10 or better.
Mhm.
And he did. And I was against that. And so now I have to wear a bag over my head to start the show. And I did get a little bit of eye black for this occasion
Oh,
tonight. So I'm going to paint it up how Jackson Dart does it. So a little tribute to him. And I will probably never fade Jackson Dart again. Dude, I don't know how he's doing it, man. He's doing it with Wandell Robinson. And my hat goes off.
I talked about it on the Fantasy and Frames waiver wire show that any quarterback who can put up 19 plus points and yet to throw for, I think it's 160, I think 158 yards is his highest on the season.
Yeah.
You're okay in my book.
Yep.
I'll definitely take it. So make sure you go check out by the time this is out, that should already be out. So
Mhm.
make sure you go back and see Kyle start the show with the bag on his head with the bet that he lost and the Jackson Dart eye paint. So make sure you go check that over on Fantasy Frames YouTube. Give him a follow over on X at KZ1180. You can find me on X at Colby R. Conway. And if you want to spin to win and experience the most exciting way and the newest way to play daily fantasy sports, this fantasy football or basketball or hockey season, head on over to the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Download the Fantasy Spin app today, and we will see you on the leaderboard. What's up, y'all? Hope you enjoyed the content. For the avoidance of doubt, please note that I, Colby Conway, am a DFS player entering these contests under the username Colby Conway. The strategies and recommendations in this video do not necessarily reflect the views of Fantasy Spin. Please play responsibly and visit fantasyspin.com/responsible gaming to take advantage of Fantasy Spin's responsible gaming resources.